Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Jeanette Byro here, and I'm a medium and a channeler. And welcome to your Wednesday Wisdom, where I will tune into spirit through mediumship or channeling, and most likely mediumship today, and see what the message is. So I never really know what it's going to be. Spirit was talking to me about a few things this morning, but when I sat down to do this video, it was like blank slate. So something completely different. So I'm just going to take a minute here, tune in, and see what they have to share. So just hold on one sec. Okay, this is really interesting. So they're talking about radical trust in self in this pinpoint turn. Now, for those of you that joined me in, I think it was the last Cosmic Consciousness, I talked about how in our ascension journey on the planet right now, we're at this like pinpoint turn or hairpin turn where we've been going in one direction and now we get to go back over the same direction, but from back over the previous way we were going, but from a higher perspective. And this is a good thing. Like this turning of events, turning of the tables, allows us to kind of really move up in this spiral of ascension, which is why when we go through experiences, we heal from them, we grow. Sometimes we come upon that same experience again, but it's not because we haven't completed it, but we're seeing it, feeling it, experiencing it from a higher level. And it's to show us how far we've come. And it really gives us the opportunity to implement the wisdom, the knowledge we've gained, and then, grow the next level from that. So sometimes that experience will come back around again by just overhearing somebody else went through it, or we might observe it somewhere, or we might come face to face with it again, but then realize, hey, I know where my personal power is here, and this doesn't trigger me like it used to, and wow, what used to just totally take me down now is actually an empowering thing, right? So this hairpoint turn or hairpin turn that we're doing right now really requires this like radical connection to our personal truth. And that personal truth is when you really get in touch with your own discernment, so knowing who you are and what you think. And it comes back to one of the very first principles Spirit ever taught me, which was know thyself. And in any of this ascension, like no matter which way you look at ascension, whether it's like spiritual specific, whether it's just awakening consciousness and thought, whether it's new innovation, in order to do any of that, you have to know thyself. Because you have to know thyself in order to create something more or something different, as well as measure what you're doing against the resonance of self. There needs to be a base point of reference to start with, so that when you are growing and ascending, you're checking, does this align with my, say, moral code? Does this align with my truth and resonance and purpose and why I'm doing this? Have we gotten off track? You have to know thyself first. And so many of you have been doing the work of knowing thyself that now it's about this like radical trust in who you are, trust in why you feel the way you do about certain things, radical trust in being able to even call yourself out on things too sometimes, right? Like I know there's times where, say I see something on the news and it triggers me, although I don't really watch news, but let's just say I'm watching the news and something triggers me. I have enough discernment to also be able to call myself out when I recognize that I'm not acting in my alignment. Maybe I'm responding in like super fear, right? Is that actually true for me? Do I really need to feel that fear? And so this like radical truth you can use for your own self, right? Like checking yourself against self, but also checking external things against self if it aligns, if it doesn't, because in this hairpin turn that we're doing right now, we're going to come across these things that we have moved through and we have moved past. And it's really to help you stand in your power. It's not meant to pull you back, to deter you from where you're going. It's meant to actually really empower you and show you how far you've come. And so the invitation is to really stand in your power and to notice the things that are coming around again. You know, it connects into the message in the July energy update about karma and how we're standing in this place where we're closing doors and then there's new doors opening. And, you know, some people are a little bit ahead, some people are a little bit behind, and really what is ahead, behind? We're all on our own path in our own time, but many are right in that middle point. And that's where that turn of events is happening, that shift point where karmas that used to be connected to you are no longer connected to you. And so again, that's why Spirit is saying really dive into your radical acceptance of your truth, because in our spiritual journey, the most important piece is you getting to know thyself and you getting to embody that, because the more you do, the more consciousness you embody, the more you can do in a single lifetime, the more you can grow, the more wisdom you can gain, the more people you can help, the more you can learn your own boundaries and your unlimitedness and all of it. And it requires that we know ourselves. So I'm just going to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, okay. And Spirit's saying the reason why this message is really important right now is because with the moon we're having on Friday, it is very emotional. And they're saying you can have the emotional experiences and really receive them in a fruitful way, versus sometimes when we think of, a moon being very emotional, we think, oh no, here we go deep in the feels. But we can be deep in the feels and spin it in a perspective where we gain a ton of gratitude, where we gain an awe and wonder for our own journey, where we gain an awe and wonder for, the transformation happening on the planet. Go into the emotions, but really measure the emotions against the accuracy of your core self, your undercurrent that I talk about often. Allow this moon to be emotional, but in a way that fills your heart, versus the old version, which may have been more deep, heavy, sad emotions. Allow those ones to flow through and see what's on the other side of it as we do this hairpin turn. And you may really notice the beauty that comes from your awareness now because of who you are now. So I'll leave that with all of you for now. Thank you so much as always for joining me, and please do share and subscribe if this is resonating with you. And definitely check out the July energy update on my podcast if you haven't yet, the Jeanette Biro podcast. It's a really good update for this month and the energy right now. So thank you again, and I will see you all tomorrow.